When I was younger, my mom would often explain conflict to me by comparing it to friction. She would often repeat a quote by Saul Alinsky that says, "If you want to grow, you must change. And to change, that means movement and friction. And only in a vacuum of a non existent world would you be able to grow and change without facing the abrasive friction of conflict." And so that taught me to embrace conflict and learn from it. My name is Sarah Gelman, and today I'll be talking about interpersonal conflict, which we learn about in Chapter 9. I believe that culture and gender play a significant role in how individuals choose to handle conflict, and that if we learn about the different confrontation styles that people use in conflict, that we will be better equipped to work more effectively with each other. In this video, I will talk about an article that I found most informative while researching this subject, as well as the major hypothesis in that article and the actual findings. Lastly, I will compare it to an interpersonal relationship of my own and how it has benefited me personally. To start, the article that I chose was written by Jennifer L. Holt and was titled "Culture, Gender, Organizational Roles and Styles of Conflict Resolution, a Meta-Analysis." In this article, she compares the differences in conflict resolution among men and women across different ethnicities and cultures. She compares them against Blake-Mouton theory, and this theory essentially states that there are 5 different types of conflict resolution styles. The first is smoothing, and then there's withdrawing, compromising, problem solving, and forcing. These can be compared to the 5 conflict resolution styles that we see in our textbook, which will be accommodation, avoidance, compromise, collaboration, and competition. In the textbook, when it talks about these conflict resolution styles, it is going to be in Chapter 9 when they talk about the topic of interpersonal conflict, and they define it to be the struggle that appears between 2 interdependent people when they have seemingly incompatible goals or needs. Holt provides a similar definition in her article as well. Furthermore, Holt hypothesized that the factors such as culture and gender had a substantial effect on people's decisions when dealing with conflict. Her findings supported this hypothesis, and she saw differences amongst communication styles when dealing with problems amongst the different groups. In the article, she wrote, based upon 123 paired comparisons with 36 empirical studies, the results indicate that in individualistic cultures, men are more likely to use forcing, while women are more likely to promote compromising. And then in regard to an organizational role, they saw that men are more likely to use forcing when dealing with their superiors. On the other hand, in collective cultures, they saw that they prefer to use the withdrawing, compromising, and problem solving, while women still promoted compromising overall. I believe that knowing this information gives us insight on how to deal with different people in difficult situations. The relationship that I chose to relate to this is going to be my romantic relationship with someone named Javier. And in our I chose this relationship because I feel that it is one of our biggest issues, that being dealing with conflict. After researching this subject, I believe it's likely due to the fact that we have different conflict resolution styles. He often uses withdrawing, which means that he likes to avoid any type of conflict. I, on the other hand, like to use more compromise. So I'm constantly looking for a medium ground. The problem with compromise is that often one of us feels like we're losing something, or we both feel like we're losing. So since doing this project and learning about our conflict management styles, I've been able to improve my communication skills while we're dealing with conflict. An example was we recently bought a new rug, and I was really excited about it. And when it came time to us laying it out, I was being a little bit of a perfectionist and wanting it to line up perfectly with the L-shaped couch that we have. And so while doing that, I kept moving it little by little, and he began to get irritated because every time I moved it little by little, he would have to pick up our couch and hold it or move it a little, and it's a pretty heavy couch, so he was getting irritated pretty quickly with me, and I eventually noticed and started to ask him if anything was wrong, and he was giving me short responses, and I normally would continue to push and try to find a compromise, like, do you want to do this tomorrow morning? Like, I still want to fix this, but I can see that you don't want to. So we can do this tomorrow morning, things like that. But after doing this research project, I decided to evaluate the different conflict resolution styles and see what would work best in this. And since this was over a rug and it was pretty insignificant, I decided that using the withdrawing or avoidance method, which he already favors, might be best. And so I backed off, and later that night he thanked me for giving him space and time to cool off, and that was exactly what he needed, and he appreciated it, and it worked out for the best. So therefore, I believe that it is beneficial to be aware of your loved one's conflict resolution styles, and that it can help you better work through your problems.